have you, huh? Don't go away.
Okay, welcome indeed. And like I have introduced, that it is um, International Day for Education, and we're going to demonstrate it to see exactly what we have done or what we are doing in this state to ensure that we have a lasting peace. Of course, you know that when you are educated and enlightened, that is when you know your right from your rights, and then you know what to do. When there are other enlightenments telling you what to do to ensure that we have progress in the state, you key in because you are educated, you know what we are talking about. So we are taking off from that to ask the commissioner this morning, how far so far? Because I think you've been around for a year plus now. Yeah. So can you just give us a little background of what it was like when you came in and where we are now?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The theme for this year's International Day for Education speaks for itself. Education for lasting peace. And education is a social responsibility. It is a right, a human right. It bequeaths on a human being that holistic acquisition of knowledge, of first being useful, sustainably useful to yourself, then useful to the society. So this year's theme is very apt. Yes, in Anambra State, the chief servant of Anambra State, Professor Charles Chukwumasoludo, CFR, hit the ground running in education. He is an educationist par excellence, and his passion, his zeal, his love for education is above the ordinary. The first thing he did was to declare a state of emergency in our educational system. Because we came on board and discovered the very terrible dilemma of schools without teachers. So this immediately he addressed by employing, barely a few months into his taking up the mantleship of the chief servant of the state. In fact, within 6 months, he employed 5,000 teachers, thereby ending the era of schools without teachers, students without teachers. The United Nations, the UNESCO, has stipulations to the ratio of teacher-student in a classroom context. Here in Anambra, we have beaten that. In Nigeria too, we have this ratio. UNESCO states 40 per class. In Nigeria, we have 40 for secondary schools, 35, that's one teacher to 40 students. Then for primary school, one teacher to 35 students, that's the ratio. Then for EEDC, that's the kindergarten, we have one teacher to 25. Yes, here in Anambra presently, we have the ratio of, for our secondary schools, we have one teacher to 21. For our primary schools, we have one teacher to 28. And then for the EEDC, we have one teacher to 23. So we have beaten this stipulation. Yet, he did not stop there. Mr. Governor did not stop there. He went ahead to order again for the recruitment of another 3,000 teachers. Wow. Yes. And the recruitment exercise is ongoing right now. He did not lose sight of the fact that we have other arms of the educational family, that's the technical schools. So he is employing, for our 16 technical schools, he aims to employ 2,089 teachers of different trades. So that's what we call their teachers, we call them traders. So for different trades, he wants to make sure that each of these technical schools answer truly to their names, technical schools. For him, technology is everything. Mr. Governor believes that if children are given sustainable and equitable education, the society will be on a roller that is running without break towards progressivism. That's his infinite belief. But that's not the most of his achievements. That is very awesome in education. Mr. Governor took the bull by the horn by declaring free education. He moved in tandem with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Section 26, which decrees free education for primary schools. He declared free education for every child in Anambra State. His aim is to bring education, compulsory education, to every doorstep in Anambra. He, again, did not stop with the primary schools. He went ahead to declare free education from JS1 to JS3 in Anambra State for every child in our community schools. It is free education. Now, his mantra is raising sustainable, skilled, technologically equipped citizens who will be useful at home and exportable abroad. For him, he is building a new Anambra. A new Anambra where people could go into the diaspora because it's a personal choice, not because they are being pursued by poverty. He is building an Anambra of absolute progress and prosperity. And this is all enshrined in education. Because education is the bedrock of every progressive society. And that is his stand. That is the nature of the man who is at the realm of affairs in Anambra State. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you have.
I was running all. There are so many things to say about our educational system.
I know. And then there are other aspects I would like us to look at. Having employed 5,000 teachers initially, and we took off with that. And then this 3,000 that is coming up now is for the technical schools, like you mentioned.
Not just the technical schools. But this time around, apart from the 280-something, 89 for the technical schools, he is also targeting specific areas. There are specific areas like, that is the compulsory subjects like English, mathematics, biology, physics, the sciences. Mr. Governor wants to make sure that the teachers in our educational sector is equal to the task, not just in quantity, but also in quality. You didn't ask me, after employment, what else?
I was going to that. What are you still? I actually wanted to find out
It's not
what
just
is the
about
situation
employing them.
now after employing them.
Yes.
Do you have any problem? Do you still have? I mean, do you still lack teachers?
Eh.
How are they faring? What of those that were moved to hinterlands? How are they meeting up? And then some
So
people
many
ahead are
things
still
to
going
ask.
from here. Yes.
So, first, I will talk about the teachers. I don't know if I answered your question as to the postings of the 3,000 teachers that are undergoing recruitment exercise.
Oh, you've not finished.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay. So we are targeting special areas, as I said before. We want to have enough English teachers, enough mathematics teachers, enough science teachers to move our children, catapult them into the technological zone, technological space of the 21st century. Now, the teachers, Mr. Governor's mantra is always the quality of teachers will determine the quality of teaching and the quality of the taught. So, we are onto a continuous upgrade of knowledge for our teachers. Symposiums, conferences, boot camps, the teachers are undergoing learning so as to bequeath them with the knowledge they will need to impact positively, sustainably, and equitably on the children. Yes. A lot of things has been delivered. The deliverables are also many. And I don't know what your next question should be. So let me not prompt you anymore.
Okay, but this question will be, when you talk about special areas, do you, is coding involved? Because I know that
definitely. That's why I said for the chief servant of Anambra State, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, it is all about technology. Technology everywhere. Technology for everything. Because technology is the in thing. Yes, we are here talking about the AI, artificial intelligence, robotics. All these have been somehow introduced before we came, but now we are truly internalizing this. And the teachers, the training they are undergoing, will also equip them with that capability to impact positively. That's why I said, and all other sciences. Yes. Okay. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. Very well. Now, let's get down. How can we start assessing the benefits of these programs that were put on ground? First, the employment of the teacher, and then a redeployment to schools. Are there anything that has started accruing from what, I mean, from this? Like, what is the performance of the schools? What are the performance of the students to show that that's an injection of a new fresh of teachers in schools?
Thank you. Number one, prior to in 2021-2022, we had a lot of malpractice cases. Some schools were booked for malpractice. But in 2022, we stood our ground, put machineries into motion, and we had 0 malpractice report. That's because there are teachers who are trained to invigilate and supervise effectively. That's number one. But the most exciting aspect is that since this, the declaration of this free education, Anambra State has become a pilgrim ground. Do you know that Mr. Governor caused me to get a data of children, that is the state of origin of children in Anambra State.
When I was coming to that.
Yes, when you are, you know, declaring this free education, although it's the
is
national
it for
thing,
Anambra alone?
Anambra, he does not reason like that. Because he has this kind of way of thinking that you and I may not even go towards. He will tell you that if you don't train the child of your neighbor, he will turn around to corrupt your own child. So Mr. Governor does not discriminate. That is one very wonderful aspect of him. He does not discriminate. So when we got this data, actually, we discovered that only 42.5% of the children in our educational institutions are our children, are from Anambra.
Really?
Yes.
42%.
We have from Ebonyi, Enugu State, Kogi State, even Abia, and all other states. Yeah, even in Lagos, a lot of people, they are all in Anambra. But they did not just come to Anambra. After the declaration of free education, our enrollment data skyrocketed. People now knew that there is a state where your child can carry his bag, get into a school, and be taught, and go back home without the teacher demanding for a penny. Because this free education is absolute and total. It's total, like you don't even ask the child to bring a pin or pay anything. So when he said free education, he meant free education.
Yes, I think I can attest to that, because I heard when it started newly, some teachers or principals or headmistresses and masters that we are thinking that it should still be business as usual, no government policy. I heard about those. Yes, I heard what you did. A lot of them suspended just because you collected a levy of maybe 1 naira or 2 naira or whatever.
No levy at all. Mr. Governor said free education. Because he was asking us, when he came on board, he was interrogating us, you have free education. How free is the education? When we brought the retinue of levies, these children will have to pay. He said, no, that this is not free education. That you cannot say you are training people free and still entangle them with a lot of levies, orientation, this. He said, no. But that's not even all. For the upper school, that is from SS3 to
SS1 to 3.
SS1 to SS3, he declared an almost zero fee there by saying that each child will pay nothing more than 5,000. And it's not just about this 5,000. The 5,000 is also returned to the principals of the schools. So nothing comes to the state.
Oh, really?
Yes.
For the running of school?
Mr. Governor believes that education is not just only a right, a human right. It is also a compulsory responsibility of the society. Yes. So that is mantra, that it is doctrine, and that is what we are doing. We are trying, we are running, we are struggling to meet up with the educational philosophies of Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, CFR. And
that's a good one.
Yes.
I think this year's celebration of International Year for Education is for Anambra, because with what is on ground now, the level of free education that we are operating here, I think that's the only thing that can give you learning for a lasting peace. You can see the kind of serenity in our schools.
yes.
Nobody is calling out on anybody, and everything is moving on well. People go to school, people bring in their children from outside.
Yes.
You are talking about 1 teacher to 40. I think that's going to be a kind of increase, because most people move their children from private to public school.
But because of the employment, because of the teachers' recruitment,
You have enough.
we have more teachers.
Oh, this is
We
good.
have more than enough.
This is
Yes.
good.
And you've not asked me about the third agent. You know, in every school situation, there are 3 agents: the teacher, the student, and the brick and mortar. So Mr. Governor has spoken to the teachers, he has spoken to the students, the pupils. You've not inquired on how he is making learning conducive, conducive for the children. Because if the atmosphere is not conducive, the children may not
Learning
learn
will not
well.
take place.
Yes. So he is moving. He is introducing a very wonderful and supersonic thing in Anambra. Mr. Governor is raising every community school in Anambra to smart school.
Wow.
That is what
Wow.
he is on to
This
right
is
now.
good.
Smart school, what does it mean? It means equipping the schools with every item, every technological item. Because as I told you before, his doctrine is technology for everything, technology everywhere. So he wants to begin from the cradle to raise every child in Anambra State technologically by raising every community school to smart school. So we have started the journey, and he is starting the journey with reconstruction of the dilapidated
Structures. I was going to ask you
in our
that.
schools. The structures we met were all terribly dilapidated. And his humane side weeps each time he comes across such things. And as I told you before, his passion for education is unparalleled because he is of the optimum belief that education bequeaths to the human soul that finery, that perfection, which will make him a human being, responsible to himself and responsible to the society. So he is moving for a reconstruction of all these dilapidated structures around us.
Okay, in that premises now, is there any kind of collaboration between the ministry and or let me just say the government and the communities? Because I know in some communities people build structures and give out to schools. Is there any kind of collaboration that could bring
I
new
was
structures?
long expecting the yes. One of the wonderful initiatives he put in place is what he calls the PPCP. That is the public-private community participation. The essence of this is to bring democracy to the doorstep of everybody, to bring governance to everybody's doorstep. You see, there is something about governance that is very intrinsic. We keep saying the government, but the fact of the case is that you and I are the government. We are the government. Yesterday, it was another governor. Today, it is Mr. Governor. Tomorrow, next tomorrow, day before, day after, it may be another. It may be you. So the government is all of us. And when we all put our hands together, it is all about progress. So he actually has held so many meetings, so many town hall meetings, so many rendezvous. He is always out there. And he has this mantra again that makes everybody adore him. He will say, Abiana, ma abiakutegi. Abiana efom na mu achokule efoge. Also, in Abifumi, more long when then Charefo. He has been going, knocking on doors, from one door to the other, asking illustrious sons of Anambra State to come and develop the state. And especially in the educational sector, we have received very wonderful, and things that will give accolade to wonderful, illustrious sons of Anambra State. They've come to build schools. The other day I was at Neni. The other Neni in America came and erected very massive perimeter fence.
Wow.
Yes. I went to commission it. It was a thing of joy. They want to safeguard the children in the school. Yes. There are so many like that. Igiago from Nibode built a hall, renovated, there's in fact so many people. Who do I call? So we
trust in the Anambra.
Yes, so they are all honestly into education, and we are expecting more. That primary school, that secondary school in your area, touch the life of a child by buying even pencils for them. You know, Mr. Governor adopted a school, Amoji Primary School, in his hometown.
Isu of yes.
Yes. And he took up the responsibility of making sure that every child in that school knows the full meaning of education, to the extent of sewing their school uniforms, buying their books.
Long before he became a governor.
Long before he became the governor. Long before he became the governor, he has been into this school adoption. So adopt a school, adopt a school, adopt a child, adopt children, pay school fees. There are so many people doing it in Anambra.
You can even adopt classes.
Mr. Governor has called for the list of all who are contributing to education in Anambra. And may I use this as a shout out to all of you out there who are helping these children, who are making sure that they receive qualitative education, who are helping the government to put our schools in the proper dimension under this PPCP program. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, Madam Commissioner, you did. Thank you very much. And for those of you that are just joining us, this is, what do you call it? Good morning, Anambra. Today's edition is a very special one as we are hosting Commissioner for Education, as we are looking at the International Day for Education. But this time around, let's see how education has impacted in our state, especially during this dispensation of Professor Chukwuma Soludo. Thank you very much as you keep watching, because we're taking a break here and we'll come back in a short while. But when we come back, we're going to look at the tertiary education. Okay, we have looked at the primary and the secondary. We're going to look at the impact this government is making in tertiary education in the state. Don't get away.
Talking about education. Education is not all about you going to school, you going to collect a certificate. After that, you'll be looking for jobs depending on the government. So how we can make education to contribute to our country is that when people are in school, they should allow them to make use of their potential. Because when you discover your potential in school and you can actually develop it on that, at least I think Nigeria will be more better than we depending on our A4 paper looking for job up and down.
When we talk about education, education does not mean that going to school and learn ABCD or all things. Education, the best education starts from parental education. We call it moral education. Today, if we have moral education, it really helps a lot. Because our time, take a look at the north I come from north. The north I came from, they believe that for the children to go to school is wrong. They only tell them that they should go to karatu and all that. And they will give them plates to be hawking and begging for food up and down. And that is why the children will not know what to call respect to their elder. They will not know what is right and what is wrong. If you are telling them, Kai, stop this, they will tell you, say, Chubu banker. Why? Because if they have moral education at home, they will know what to do and what not to do. Now, another education that we have again is what? Is academic education. Our own belief, our society, that if you go to school, have the best certificate and everything, you are okay with it. No. Our time, we normally take the right and for the wrong. We don't know. Now, another education that we have is religion education. Religion education also takes part of our life to know what is sin and what is not sin. Because most of us today, what we do today, the way we dress, the way we talk, the way we do, we're supposed to have them in a religion aspect. There's something that we do that is not good. And if you are going to it and you are going to your Sunday school and they are guiding you there and you are applying it with your moral education, you will now know what to do in society.
Going to school, attending classes, writing examinations, no, it goes beyond that. Now, what you do with that knowledge you get from school, that is where the main education starts. So in as much as we are advocating for people to go to school, it doesn't just stop there. You know, most times we allow that education and certificate to clip our wings. To me, that's a drawback, that's a pitfall. But in as much as we advocate for people to go to school, when you get to school, get that enlightenment. Education is a light. But what you do with that light is what matters. So we encourage young ones, go to primary school, go to secondary school, go to tertiary institution, gain more knowledge, and use that knowledge to affect your world positively. It's not all about the knowledge that you gain, but what you do with that knowledge, that is where the real education lies.
For a society to be said to be developed, you have to first develop its constituent unit, that is the individual citizens inhabiting it. That is the bedrock. It is from there. Development here has to come with basic knowledge of civics, of basic civic education, knowledge of basic technology. It is then, just like you have in developed states, the true tests of development is human capital. It is human capital that will now determine the extent of, it has a direct bearing on gross domestic products. Education here doesn't have to be education to the very highest levels, but you will notice that in most advanced countries of the world, education is accessible and mandatory for almost all levels of population to a reasonable extent, at least to the level of literacy, and then to the level of acquisition of 1 or 2 skills for personal support. But if you are educated, you can read and write, and you have 1 or 2 skills that you can say, I know how to do this thing, or I can do this other thing. And that's, you now discover that you have a population, the greatest number of which is gainfully employed. And that is the start of development.
Welcome back. Still good morning, Anambra, with Professor Ngozi Chuma Ude, the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Anambra State. I still welcome you here, ma.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Before now, we'll have problem of when you get to the street, you see a lot of children, you know, hawking or just idling away, and you keep wondering, what is this one doing in school? Come here. Why didn't you go to school? My mother says she doesn't have school fees. Now, school is free. We have free education in Anambra State, and you still have 1 or 2 of them around. We want to find out, well, how are you managing this out-of-school children issue?
Well, it's an uphill task, you know. When something is enshrined in the consciousness of some people, it's always difficult. But Mr. Governor, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, declared a free and compulsory education in Anambra State. Free
and compulsory.
So anybody keeping children at home is facing or will be facing a criminal charge. Yes. Free and compulsory. You see, we are already on it. The Commissioner for Women Affairs, Madam Commissioner Mrs. Ifeanyi Binabo, from time to time she goes for raids. She raids the streets, gets these children. There are some, you said hawkers, there are some of them who have made a business out of begging. So we get them and we reintroduce them to a new life. We enroll them in schools. Then we look for their parents, get to know what their problem is, and we try to resettle the children. So far, so good. We have about 108 children already in school.
Oh.
Yes.
From the out of school?
Yes, from the out of school.
Really?
And that's not just all. There are so many machineries Mr. Governor is putting in place to curb. Apart from the free education, which he has declared in Anambra, he also making sure that every home, every single human being in Anambra gets something, gets his or her hand on something. He is onto a kind of umunna cooperative. Because, you know, he does not think like you and I. I don't know why I keep saying that. He thinks generations ahead of the normal human being. He said that the problem, the poverty, the root cause of poverty is from home. When a child is not able to go to school, it is because maybe the mother does not have anything to do. So he looks for a way of bringing out a cooperative that will equip every woman with at least some stipend to start a business. You see, he hit the ground running in Anambra. He is onto that. It will soon manifest.
This is good.
Yes.
Now that I've taken education away, the burden of education from your family, do this to provide food for your family.
He is going ahead again to make sure that all these local women will have something, some stipend to trade with. He is onto eradication of poverty in Anambra State. I am digressing from education, but it is all hands to education.
Yes.
Remember some time ago, he had to, you know, give out palm seedlings, coconut seedlings. The essence is to make sure that this poverty is eradicated from source. So at least you can eat, give your child, and send your child to a free school.
Yeah, that's cool. But before now, Madam Commissioner, we are having problem of, okay, it's part of the out-of-school children, the problem of that our boys don't go to school. Okay, later it became girls don't go to school. For your statistics now, who is it, the boys or the girls?
You see, you know? Mr. Governor is a data person. You know, him being a scientist and an economist, he will always tell you what cannot be measured, cannot be improved on. Data, data, data. Yes. The society is perpetually in a state of flux. And this fluidity is what is common for every living human being. So that is what will account to this shift between girls going to school, boys going to school. Initially, it was the women train the child, train the girl child. That's for our Anambra, that's for our contemporary society here. Train the girl child alongside the male counterpart so that together they will move in progressivism, yes. At a certain stage, the interests of the society again moved. That's what I call fluidity. The man suddenly discovered that the salary, the white-collar job salary may not feed him and his family. Then people now became more materialistic. A man is now, the integrity of a man is gauged by how much he has in his pocket. So it prompted the men, it diverted them from that academic line to the trade. And that is when we have the Ewa boy syndrome. Onye binie opolonwe jebe Ewa boy. And if you watch Nollywood movies, it's when you go to the city, immediately, you just go to the city, you get money. It's that kind of a thing. That euphoria, or I am living for the city. Then you live for the city, you come back, you make money. So men began to look for avenues of making quick money. And that was what diverted them from the educational sector, which they now left for the women folk. They now faced trade. And we had our Ewa boy syndrome, the IDS or something like that. So it took away a chunk of our boys. And it was such that when you get into the school space right now, the headmistresses, I think I have 89.2% as women. Yes.
89.2
as women. Just a little percentage of males teaching in our schools today.
Is it like that in secondary school too?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
So it's a women thing.
That's the issue. So, and it's affecting our school system, especially the discipline tone. Because the master that will stand there to flog the child, though I hate flogging anyway. Everybody knows that I'm against flogging my children. Nobody beats the children. But that master, that male influence that will instill fears into children are lacking in most schools. They are all women, women, women. But that's the flux of the society, and there is nothing one can do about it. You don't drag somebody to come and teach.
No, you don't. Especially now that they come up with this slang that education is a scam. And you keep wondering, where is this one from? Have you seen any person that is educated that doesn't fit in the society? Why is this a scam? Is it because of the new normal that if you don't have money, you don't belong?
That's materialism. But I have always told my students, and in fact, whoever cares to listen, every time I come in contact with that slang, I will tell them, school is scam, school is scam. That was why somebody found himself in the police station and was writing a statement. Beside him was another person also writing a statement. Incidentally, the person sitting beside him committed murder and owned up to the murder and was writing his statement that he actually killed this person. Yes, he's owning up to the to murder, pleading for leniency. And this man who was always shouting school is scam, so copied from him. So
you're also a mother, a murderer.
So that is the issue. School cannot be scam.
It can
because
never
education imbues on the human soul, as I always say, that enlightenment which will make you humane and human.
Very important.
Yes.
Okay, we are rounding up, but before we go, I remember I said I was going to ask you what plans does the administration have in the tertiary institutions? So I've seen the primary and the secondary. Is there any plan for the tertiary institutions in the state?
Definitely.
Okay.
Mr. Governor will always ask you, why do we have these universities? What is our focus? Where are we going? We don't just have a university. What does this university produce? Who teaches there? So we are on to reformation too in our universities. We will look at the lecturers, their qualifications, and we also look at their quality of teaching and their availability. I forgot to tell you, Mr. Governor is very particular, not just about the teachers, employing the teachers, or the quality of teaching, it is the availability of the teachers too. So we are carrying this on to the higher institutions. We'll look at the availability of the teachers, the knowledge they can proffer, their academic prowess, and of course he's moving on to put a peg in round hole. He just appointed an acting vice chancellor, who incidentally, that's for Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, who incidentally handed over to me as the Commissioner for Education. So I believe he is very, very sure of where he is going. And we have 3 major higher institutions, public higher institutions. There is one at Mbako and the other one at Usube.
Okay.
The one for is College of Education, then the State Polytechnic at Mbako, and then Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University. Yes, he is coming. He is coming to redress, to restructure and restore.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You didn't ask me about special children.
I almost left one out. I'm so sorry.
We have
the
3.
special children. That's the handicapped. How do you manage them?
We don't call them handicaps.
Okay.
We call them, they are special children.
Okay, thank you.
We have 3 public special children, 2 at Saonicha Haudapo and 1 at Isulo. Mr. Governor is moving to, during the teachers' recruitment, special teachers were also employed for special schools to teach them like the physically challenged, that is the physically challenged or when it comes to blindness, they learn through Braille.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Governor is moving to equip each of these special centers with special skills, special equipment to enable them. Above all, he did a very wonderful thing. He paid the school fees, the exam fees for the children, for the men and women in our correctional center at Onitsha. So we have established a school, yes. We have established a school. The school was there anyway, but we now moved it to exam classes.
Okay.
So now they can take their BESE, they can even take their WAEC while in prison.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Mr. Governor will want a situation whereby they actually go there to get corrected.
And reformed.
Yes. So that reformation will be total. They will have skills, they will have certificates, and when they come out, they will face the world balanced people. And there will be no need for criminality again. That's the kind of person that is at the mantle of leadership in Anambra State.
I tell you.
He is decades ahead of common people like us.
You know, you've said that several times. Honestly speaking, I've been having goose people. You've said that several times. But
Yes.
what just came to my mind is that the kind of foundation that our governor is laying in education in this state.
Not just in education, but in all
in every aspect of our lives. In the next 10, 15, 20 years,
Anambra will be.
I'm telling you, it's going to be, you know, it's going to boom. That's when you start seeing all these things, you know, and you start wondering, Kedizim will be do. A man of foundation and LA now. And usually, trust our people, once you come in, they want you to do everything at the same time.
But
they
he's doing it.
They want to see everything at the same time.
His achievements for just this 1 year.
They want you to
is a
build a
marvel.
house without foundation. But that is what I see that is going on now. Very solid foundation that is going on in this state. Okay, so that in the next 1, 2 years, oh my God, what you see in this state, it become a cynosure that people will go to Anambra and learn what
Go to Anambra and see.
you know,
This is not about go to Paris again. It's go to Anambra and see.
honestly.
Honestly.
Yes, I called you Madam Commissioner. We are going. I mean, Madam Commissioner and then award-winning Commissioner. Can you just briefly tell me more about this award? Because I have seen you go to this country and that to collect 1 or 2 awards, you know. So how
Awards,
come within space of 2 years?
Yes. Excellence breeds excellence. Progress brings progressivism. So when we stepped in, Anambra, ndị Anambra da agbakwa last. The children went to various competitions and they came first. Then they became the debate team of the nation, the solution debate team. And we also went to Malaysia and came back with the trophies. The teachers are not left out. The President's Award every year yields plumages of awards. It is all to the glory of God. And thanks to Mr. Governor for his support and encouragement.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Commissioner. Thank you for joining us this morning to look at this topic, 2024 International Day for Education, as we had a theme as Learning for Lasting Peace. Of course, you must have seen that actually what we are getting here will give a lasting peace to the state. You just have to key in and then an agala from your side, okay, so that we'll be able to enjoy what is coming.
Yes.
Thank you, Professor Ngozi Chuma Ude, the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Anambra State. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you, viewer, and do keep praying for Mr. Governor and for all of us who are here as servants to you people. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Solution is here.
It's here. Thank you, ma. Thank you. The solution is here. Solution is everywhere.
Yeah.
And the solution will continue because that's exactly what we've been yearning for. Let there be solution to our problems and not just you pointing out the problems. It is here is that let there be solution. And that's why we're having this solution now.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, camera guys. Thank you, the MCR guys. Thank you, the producers, Ifi and Chinyere. Thank you, everybody that made this happen today. Thank you, Ebuka. My name is Sijama. God keeping us. We'll come here tomorrow, and then we'll continue from where we stop. God bless you. Bye for now.